Assalamu alaikum, everyone. So, we have today with us Fahad Siddiqui. He is the founder of Al-Mabrook. He has like a good number of years of experience working with Standard Chartered, Dubai Islamic Bank, Bank of Khartoum, Scotia Bank, and various other top multinational corporations like IBM as well. So, I'll let him speak about himself rather than me telling you all what he has done in the past. So, Assalamu alaikum, Fahad. How are you?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Walaikum assalam tullah, Dr. Riva. All good. Thank you very much.
So I would like you to tell our listeners like what have you done, what are you doing now, and yeah, your whole journey.
So, no, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. So basically banking, that's what I only know for last 20 to 21 years. Started my career in Karachi, Pakistan, working with Standard Chartered Bank as a project manager for cards and payments. Then moved to Dubai, joined Dubai Islamic Bank as a project manager as well, and as a part of their international expansion team. And there, Alhamdulillah, with the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, I was at the right time with great people to learn from. Um, so climbed up the ladder from being a project manager to a senior project product manager for Islamic financial services, um, becoming head of the product and head of the marketing. And when I left the West Bank, I left as vice president and head of international business. In between that, I served the Dubai Islamic Bank Sudan operations, which is known as Bank of Khartoum. That's the M&A we did of three bank actually. And Alhamdulillah, there we also tested the innovative products. And the bank actually, we were able to, the entire team actually were able to turn around the bank from number eight in the market to number one in less than 4 years. Alhamdulillah. And eventually settled down in Canada, worked in a couple of multinational in the United States and in Toronto, Scotia Bank and the Door, which is the largest payment provider in US, as a senior solution consultant, basically advising their brand transformation, working with the multiple clients in US and in Canada, such as Key Bank, Suncoast, Florida, and all those. and and yeah, recently left IBM. I was working as a solution consultant, also from the IBM advisory side, for their commercial and retail banking operations of a few banks in US, and then Mabrook, of course. Um, I guess you ask, oh, why Mabrook, and what kind of
First, I'll
what
ask is
company? Okay, got it.
you are from tech background, and mashallah, you have led like the top banks, especially in the GCC. What brought you towards these banks, basically? Because you're a tech person. Why did you choose the banking
Yeah.
sector?
It's a good question. So when I was in tech, it was hardcore tech, meaning literally looking after the card payments infrastructure. So you go to the level of console and coding and and QA and all those SDLC stuff. But what intrigued me was Islamic banking. I always used to think that what is the difference between a conventional Islamic bank? Now coming into the tech side, yeah, I was able to get the requirement and I was able to work with consumer had, credit risk has, and all that, and compliance and fraud risks and whatnot. But I always used to wonder, what is the difference in the product? Because these folks asked me to set up or parameterize the product in a core banking system, which looks seems like a conventional product. I.e., if it is a car loan, it's a car loan. It's a personal finance, then it's a personal finance. The car is a credit card. So this is where I thought that what, let's try to jump onto the wagon of the marketing and product side. Let's understand what they do, what are the financial projections they do, how they structure the product, what is the, for example, IOF, the gold standard Islamic finance means. What are those IOF standard? What does IOF standard, for example, standard number 62, what does it means, and why the accounting entries there are different than the the conventional one. So that's why I was intrigued, and I was talking to my bosses, my management, and I need to move on, and there was an opportunity, so I moved as a product manager there, structuring the product. And that was a eye opener for me because I was able to see the ground realities, the momentum, the need, the what consumer is asking, how we structure the product with the Sharia advisory, and what does Sharia compliance means, um, and how the PPG or the product program document has is created, what are the risks related to it, what is the difference between Islamic finance related risk, right? What is the risk in terms of the marketing side, and what is the difference between the core operational risk versus Sharia risk? All that this is what I understood what Islamic finance really means, which for so many consumer, the customer Islamic financial services, they are not aware. So that intrigued me, and from there I said, okay, you know what, let's continue this journey and try to make change at the front end, because having the technology understanding and then you have a business understanding, you can really combine both and do better things versus your peers. So alhamdulillah,
Definitely.
that gives me advantage till today. Although I am back in Canada and I am doing stuff here, but since I have that business knowledge, so table has turned. Now I'm from business to tech. So now it also helps me because when I'm advising technology or infrastructure and acquisition of a software or aligning it with the business roadmap, I can do it really faster than any other, because the alhamdulillah, with the knowledge I had, the chance I had to work towards both ends, make me kind of a unique personality. It's like both best of both world and then combine it and carve out new product.
Yeah, definitely. Since you just mentioned world, so you have moved across the world. But why did you choose fintech as the vehicle to merge faith and finance? There can be other options, and I'm sure, I think so. I missed in the introduction that you were also part of Thrive, which was an ed tech.
Yeah. So the way, and it is my exposure to North America, the westward, more than the Gulf or subcontinent, is because most of the R&D happens in this part of the world, right? There's a proper budget to do R&D, and there's a proper unit organization itself which is running at the, how to ensure that we are ahead of the curve. So when I was exposed here in significantly very large multi-million dollar projects, what I saw is that there is a shift. There is a shift in how the consumer sees the bank. Most of the most of the consumer today, they don't trust bank, and that's why we are seeing that the brick and mortar branches. One of the things, they are not profitable anymore as they used to be. I mean, of course, there's importance of it, but that's not like now. There's no dependence in the branch. Literally, you can have a digital bank and no branch, and you can run the bank completely, maybe more profitable, right? So I see the confidence losing. I see digitalization happening. People are moving away from brick and mortar model. And then I saw that the way we see a typical legacy bank is like a big ship, right? And then those fintechs coming up, fintech like payment fintech would come up. Or take an example of Uber, or take an example of Airbnb. They are coming up and they are challenging the status quo, and they are very agile and fast. So if you kind of compare them both, a big ship, like a typical bank like a big ship, and fintech like a small speedboat, you can see those fintechs are able to address the underserved market very fast, um, in less time, in less cost, but high yield profit. So then I applied that thought process into the Islamic finance world we have today. So combined assets of 1600 odd banks, and I think, I don't know, maybe 100 plus for Islamic fintechs. So we see that the industry is at $4.7 trillion. And if you compare it with the digital world, let's take the extreme level. So we have a market cap of the cryptocurrency today standing somewhere, I think, 3.4 um, trillion dollar or something. I have to correct that, but it's like it's more than that. In last 10 years, they are now coming towards $4 trillion industry, and of course, in next 2 years, they might I don't know, go 4x, right? So I thought that why not we do Islamic fintech, which is easy deployable, very lightweight. It's like a bank in a box. So what you do is that basically you create a vehicle which you can deploy it at any environment, any territory with little customization or localization. You don't need like millions of dollars to deploy the technology infrastructure. You just get the license, you deploy that light vehicle software or app, and you start building the what you call the assets from there. So maybe what we can do is that, let's say if we can turn on that software in North America and then we turn it on, I don't know, somewhere in Africa, somewhere Middle East, somewhere in Far East, you are basically creating a rail on that fintech, and then fintech can just work like a Swift network today. And then you don't need like a big bank to raise fund. For example, a small business can come and they can say that, you know what, there are 2 billion Muslim in the world. I want to raise like a half a million or $1 million or $2 million. So that vehicle can then can service that segment, the demand side, and the supply side. Of course, any retail person or any individual across the globe can come and invest easily. So now we have a bank where we have one deposit side and one lending side, kind of a thing, right? Now, if you apply to this concept into a big bank, it will take time. Is because the way they are structured, the way their systems are structured, the compliance regime is structured is different than a fintech. So it will take some time for that bank to get into that underserved market. And especially if that market is a Web3 blockchain, it will take more time because blockchain it's one of the complex infrastructure. It, usually because not many people are exposed, not many human capital is available to kind of do that thing. So to sum up, what I'm trying to say is that what compelled me to fintech was the agility, the speed, the cost of course, and it can go faster than any bank or any legacy infrastructure and kind of address the underserved market we have today.
Yeah,
On the
definitely.
so yeah, and on the Thai side, sorry, I forgot to answer about the Thai side. The Thai side is more towards awareness because in Islamic finance we have another challenge, unlike conventional banking, which has been there for so many years. Islamic finance is still new, started in 1974 or 75. Um, so I see the awareness part is like the key because you need the the ordinary person would need knowledge of Islamic finance, awareness first before they even come and expose to the product. And I think it's a very ethical responsibility also because we need to not even like just go and sell out the product. The person should be first um, made aware of what muraba is, what musharka is, what does it mean, why it is a P&L, why we don't have a fixed rate, for example. All those basic knowledge should be provided to the consumer, and then the best way to do it today is through digital media, right? And this is where the Taif app was born.
Definitely, I think so. That's why Islamic products are getting popular these days because people are getting aware about such kind of products, thanks to Taif and all the other platforms which are helping them know about all of this. So we've had some serious conversation in the past few minutes. Now, the next question is actually interesting because whoever I've asked in the past podcast, they all answered just one name, and it was Fahad Siddiqui. So the question
So
was,
kind of
why Mabrook?
everybody.
And everybody
Hmm.
said it's because of Fahad Siddiqui. Now, I would like to ask you, why Mabrook? What's the story behind it? Was it just a
Hmm.
cup of coffee in a snowy weather, or what was it?
So first of all, I really want Mabruk to become an institution. I don't want it to be, meaning personally, I don't like Mabruk to be associated with Fahad in a way anybody can understand that okay, this is Fahad running the show. No, absolutely, this is incorrect. The entire team has they are putting more sweat and blood than me, and we want to create an institution which we can transfer as well, right? So because when I am not in this world, right, everybody has to go someday. We need to have this institution running. And the way we are structuring Mabruk is that all the policy and procedure, the documentation is transferable. All the assets are placed in a digital asset. and we are improving those as well. So literally, if nobody is there in Mabrook tomorrow and a new team comes and take over, they should be able to start, inshallah. So I want it to be institution, and I want everybody to remind me and remind themselves as well that we are building institution, and of course this becomes a invitation for everybody who is keen or eager to join hands and they'll share the same vision. Mabruk welcomes them, and regardless of their caste, creed, their ability, their background, inshallah, we are willing to join hands and create that momentum. Second thing is that it's just like our thought process, and this is you, Dr. Reba, and everybody else as well. That first we have to understand that organization is nothing but a bunch of human running it, right? We have to have that human touch before we talk tech, before we talk about software itself and deployment and all those complex discussion. We have to be mindful and respectful to each other and give them the space where they can learn also. Because sometimes if you are like kind of a dictator that I want this to happen, maybe that's not the right way to do in today's world. So you pick up any, again, go back to the fintech analogy, the way Airbnb, Uber are done, or even the LinkedIn, which was refreshed couple of years back when they kind of demolished whatever the legacy application they had and they built new. The culture was the important part, right? So a, you need to have a very positive culture where if somebody make mistake, you say that's not a mistake, that was an experiment, right? And then let them learn from their mistake and continue to adjust. So the moment you start giving that space and you don't finger point things or team works as one body, I think you are able to accomplish a very good technology or corporate or whatever you want to say, a tangible output. So that's what we are very mindful of it. So no toxic culture, be positive. If you made a mistake, that's all right. Let's continue to learn, adjust, and thrive. Everybody has to have their say. We have a linear organization structure. There's no CEO, there's no head of marketing like you. We are one team. We can discuss all the problems in a stand-up daily. We can come up with some tangible, what you call, um, not tangible, basically come up with some idea to resolve it. We solve it and we move on. So I think this is where people are saying it's Fahad Siddiqui, but it's not Fahad Siddiqui, honestly. It's everybody. Alhamdulillah.
So yeah, what's the story then behind this? How did you guys come up with Mabrook?
So yeah, so sorry, I think I went off track. And
No problem.
yeah, so the story behind Mabruk is when I left Dubai Science Bank, I kind of learned two things as major pain points today. One was the awareness part because anywhere we land, alhamdulillah, I've been had an opportunity to work in six, seven operations of the West Side Bank. So on those different countries, whenever we used to land or work or do meeting, people used to ask about Islamic finance and what it is. It was very expensive for us to ship those Sharia expertise. So this is where Type was born, like do it on app. Mabruk was the second agenda I had when I left. That because we need to have some organization, some institution, which is boundaryless. So anywhere in the world where consumer needs Islamic financial product, they don't want to deal in interest, then there should be an institution which can help them. It's not like a bank where it will take some years to go, but literally we can just go and turn it on. I mean, I'm sure that you would be thinking that how far they're saying it because you need to have a license, the compliance and all that. Yeah, that is there. But more than compliance, first we have to see what is the demand, we how we address it, and then find ways. So Mabruk is a product of that thought process that how can we do it faster. So in this fintech era, blockchain is the ideal infrastructure to do something which is boundaryless. Like Bitcoin is a boundaryless. You can be anywhere. You can own Bitcoin. You can be anywhere. You can do transaction in Bitcoin. I can transfer Bitcoin to you. You can transfer it to me. So similarly, what we did is that we piggyback on that infrastructure, and the way we are building Mabrook is to become that solution, which is easy deployable and it scales really fast. And then eventually, what we'll do, the outcome will be that okay, today we are standing at 4.7 trillion, but having Mabrook or alike softwares or fintechs, we can combine and we can just start addressing the underserved. The more underserved we onboard, the more asset side of the Islamic financial industry increases.
Okay. So I believe it's you, Atif, and Haris. So how did you three decided to bring this Mabrook word come up, and what's the story behind the name Mabrook? Why did you call it Mabrook?
Yeah, so Mabruk means literally Barakah in anything you do, right? So we named Mabruk because we thought that let me put my thoughts together. So one of this Barakah, right, blessings, right? So where the Mabruk idea was in the DNA of Mabruk, we need to embed couple of rules which are hard written, they cannot be changed. Number one is ethics, right? So the ethics are above the business. So it's okay not to make much money, make little, but do it ethical way, Sharia compliant way, right? Second is that the human relationships. So then any kind of relationships we have, whether it's a third party vendor, whether it's a Mabruk team or our investor or the issuer who will come on board on the platform, inshallah, once we go live, we have to ensure that we are addressing their needs in the best possible way. We are communicating everything in a right crystal clear manner, right? So again, ethics, but now we are talking about processes. So process has to be Sharia compliance, and there should be a human driven processes rather than a strict policy organized like a strict policy which are not helping anybody. So we embed that as well. So all the processes like refund, for example, or the way we are going to communicate to the issuer investor very it will be very crystal and clear. There will be do's and there will be don'ts to, explain to them. It's not like, okay, here's the product we are selling you, and to make that sell happen, we kind of start lying or writing something which we are kind of twisting the lines, right? The third thing is that we we three, when we were putting our thoughts together, that what should be done in the Canadian market to address the underserved, because Canada, we have very less avenues to invest in Sharia compliant or halal assets like investment vehicles. So we thought that let's do something which nobody has done. What is that? Let's try to build a product that kind of relays the what do you call, not only the risk or the downside of the product, but it also kind of explains them or kind of help them to have their direct ownership on the project as well. Like, how can we build a product where they are not investing in a black box like a company where they don't have any control on the P&L of that company and how that company performs, but let's create a product where they can do a proper P&L, meaning they are the partners of the product itself. So this is where Haris and Atif expertise comes in, because they combine experience of I think 45-year plus of real estate development, construction, development, renting, management of the asset, blah blah blah. So we thought, okay, that's now, since we all three partners agree on the ethics, because among us there's no compromise when the ethics come. Number two is that we don't lie, we don't twist, we don't oversell any product. We three principally we agree, and that's the way we have been done. We have been doing our own businesses, like my jobs and my consulting job, and their own real estate projects. We try to not oversell or do misconduct. All right, we haven't done, and that's the future. We also want to remind ourselves constantly that do it right way. Third thing, that combining our expertise, my financial knowledge, my tech knowledge, Haris Atif real estate knowledge, the market knowledge, and the network we have, we can do a project where we can construct a building, very simple one, tokenize it, provide the real ownership of that asset, and we keep communicating the project status and the risks and the issues we are having daily on the platform. So when we were discussing it, I had an opportunity to discuss it with Mufti Ismail Desai, and we explained him. He said, the right way to do it, the name it is Mabruk. Call it Mabruk because it means that whatever you do, It can be financial transaction, it can be a relationship, it's the way you deal with people. Everything will have barakah if you do it right way, in a way that Islam has mandated it to be. It will have it barakah, and barakah can be in $1 that can become like a, it will have a power of a $1 trillion, or it can be reverse. If you don't do it right way, you can have $1 trillion, but it might not have the energy or the strength or the power which $1 had. So do it right way. So that's why we call it Mabrook, because it's going to keep us reminding on what we um, kind of pledge for to do. I hope I answer it in a long way,
Yeah, because my next
but
question will be more
yeah,
interesting. I got half of the answer actually from this. I would like to ask you, like, if you would like to say just three words on Mabruk, what will it be? I know the first one will be Baraka. What are the next two?
I will say that it will be, the next two would be profitability
Mm-hmm.
and protection, because whatever we do will be to protect our investor as well as the issuer. So I will say the three things would be, as you said, Baraka, profitability, and protections, because these are the three building points of Mabruk. We need to make sure that whatever we do, whatever project we kind of bring on the platform, qualifies for all those three.
Oh, okay. And that's a good answer. So, by the way, we'll also be playing kind of a rapid fire round in the end, wherein I'll give you just two options and you have to choose one. And before we do that, I have few more things to ask you. Since you are leading a startup, what's your go-to productivity hack while managing it?
It's a very good question, but a tricky one also, because working on Mabruk and on my consulting assignment, of course, it's a kind of stress, I would say. But Alhamdulillah, what I firmly believe is that when you're trying to do right thing, as far as the qualifying criteria is that you are doing it right way and you are not off tracking of what you were supposed to do. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala find, give the barakah in time as well. You tend to do things in less time. Um, and call it like Allah's blessing, Allah's mercies, or um, everything. The people around me also, they are really helpful. So wherever I get weak or I'm not able to respond in time, they find ways to resolve it. Right. So I think the straight answer would be that we just work towards it, whatever the issues we are in order of the priority. Number one. Number two, I think Allah blessing is around us. That's what I feel that Alhamdulillah, whatever we are doing will be a success, and we are getting challenges every day. I mean, some of the challenges were they throw us like way out of the track. We are like, if we take two steps forward, we are like 20 steps behind. Because of that, we have to pivot. But by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are able to get a solution of that. So, one door closed, another open. So that is something keeping us going so far.
Perfect. So, next question would be something interesting, and I'm sure I'm expecting a very humorous and yeah, and a good answer on that. So, if you weren't leading Mabruk and if you weren't in Canada, what would you be doing and where would you be?
Um, I think I
That's
would be
something
doing the same
interesting.
thing. I would be. It's just like, I'm really. So Islamic finance is kind of in my blood now. Right? It's just like the oxygen I take. The 18 years I spent in the Diversified Bank Group, working with, so many great senior executives and the Sharia board and whatnot. I've learned one thing, that the if it being done in the right way, Islamic finance can solve so many things to the level of this, the society, the social economics as well. It can really impact at the grassroots level. Um, So if I'm not doing Mabruk, maybe I would be doing some other kind of Islamic finance stuff. If it is not Islamic finance, then God knows what I will be doing. Maybe I would be flying a jet or something.
And where
Um,
would you be?
Where I would be, I don't know, maybe Pakistan.
So
Back in
definitely you miss
Pakistan, yeah.
Pakistan.
Yeah.
So that's one thing I asked our previous speaker, that do they miss Pakistan, and I got the answer no.
But you know what? In my heart, the only country I miss, of course, Pakistan is something where it's a place where I was born. It's my country. This is where I belong to. But the country I miss is Sudan.
Sudan.
Yeah. If
That's
you would have
something
to give
different.
me an option that Fahad, okay, if you roll back time, where you want to go, I will go to Sudan.
Oh, that's
Just
something
because,
interesting.
yeah, because Sudan was, alhamdulillah, the people were so great, so down to earth. Um, Very warm people to work with. Of course, the potential for we made good revenues there, of course, but I think people are really great. They are very helpful, very open towards expats as well. Very helpful. You can ask any question without hesitation. They look after each other in a way I haven't seen it in any country yet. So much so, if somebody is in problem and they have a financial problem, so regardless of, it could be an HOD, head of the department, moving around to the entire head office and the branches to collect money for him. So I really love Sudan, and unfortunately, all this uh, political issues going on there, it really made me sad when I saw that such a big country, a potential with a high potential, is facing political turmoil. I make a dua that thing gets sorted out there as well.
Inshallah, I mean, I think so. This dua has to be made for like most of the regions now.
I mean, yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, okay. So, since you have lived in Pakistan, in Canada, in Sudan, in UAE, which, this is like a casual question. Which food do you miss the most?
So I still Pakistan, of course.
So, okay. So, you miss the Buns Road and all these places.
Buns Road biryani, man kebab, and all that. Yeah, I'm a foodie person, so
So,
I think
not in
yeah.
UAE.
In UAE also, because UAE also we had a couple of options there, but mostly I used to have Pakistani food.
Okay, so it's a
Yeah,
nostalgia like when
yeah,
you visit Pakistan.
yeah. It's
I
like
definitely
student
get it.
days. Yeah, no money in the pocket, pulling in money, going and having lunch or dinner, whatever, with friends. So you're right.
I think so it's with everybody. Whoever hasn't been to Buns Road, they haven't seen Pakistan as yet.
Correct, correct.
Okay, so let's do a rapid fire, a quick one. So I'll just give you two options. You have to choose one, and like a little bit of explanation why. So if I ask you to choose between tea and coffee, which
Kadak
one would
chai.
you choose? Oh, karak chai. Why is that so? Because I'm sure you have a busy life, and usually coffee is the drink which like hits your brain.
No, I think it's tea for me. Yeah, if I could not find tea, then I'll go for coffee.
Okay. Favorite book that inspires your vision for Mabrook?
Yeah, that's a good one. I read a book called Digital Transformation. It's called Best Bag. It's by Mr. Robin Speculin, if I pronounce his name right. So that really opens up the eye of what is going on, because the books talk about how the Best Bank were created, how they were digitally transformed. And then by reading that book, then I tend to had it referred me to other books like Eric Ray's um, Startup, right? That books, and then I ended reading SRE, Google's book, which talks about the site reliability engineering, which is very new. Not many banks know about it. How to deploy a reliable structure and whatnot. So and that was a starting point for me. And of course, that book was referred to me by my colleague in US,
Mm-hmm.
because again, the environment matters, right? So I was in the environment, working
Hmm.
hands-on, but maybe I kind of did not have the context because I was coming from Gulf. So that
Yeah.
really book helped me give me the context of what is happening.
Okay. Blockchain or AI?
I think both. Why? Because it will be. It will be just like TCP/IP. So if you go back maybe 90s or early 90s or late 80s, when TCP/IP latest protocol came in, which kind of gave you the opportunity to lay out the infrastructure. So for me, blockchain is that, and AI is become organic combination of it because we know all the processes today and going forward. They will be constantly migrating to AI. So that become a process as well. So I would say both.
Okay. One advice you'd give to your younger self.
Try to become entrepreneur as soon as possible because in
That's
at
also a
my age,
dangerous
yeah, it's
advice.
a high risk. Yeah, it's a high risk at my age because you have family to run and you have so many things to look after, right?
Yeah.
So try to
Yeah.
do early as possible. Um, don't don't spend your time seeing reels and hours. That's what I see in my kids and other as well. Try to educate yourself on the latest technology. Maybe start like with my younger daughter. I'm starting to coach her on how to invest in the crypto world. Of course, disclaimer: cryptocurrencies are not Sharia compliance. They are not Sharia compliant. They are not halal as of yet, right? But I'm coaching her how what is the concept of trading, how the what is crypto world, how they behave, what are the attributes of those, what does um, robo algorithm or which kind of work on which can help you to invest and make profit works. All that concept I'm trying to coach her, but it's really hard because kids nowadays are
Definitely.
really distracted. But yeah, so start early, understand blockchain, understand AI, go hands on. Of course, coding is not like the coding we used to do, where we used to open
Mm.
Visual Studio and go line by line and do the codes and try to fix errors. Things are we have rapid module environments available today where you can get yourself familiar. Start reading smart contract. It's not difficult to do so. I mean, of course, when you open it first time, it will be like Chinese or some complex like alien language to you. But as and when you start learning, you will get hold of it. I did my blockchain certification 2.5 years back or 3 years back, I guess, just to understand what blockchain means, right? And then it helped me a lot. So start with that.
Definitely, people should start educating their kids, especially because
Hmm.
these are the generations which are more aware as compared to us and our previous generations, and they are exposed to basically whatever is there in the world
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so since we are inshallah going to celebrate a milestone very soon, but in the past, whichever milestones which Mabrook has achieved, how did the team celebrate it? And how did you celebrate them?
Well, honestly, we make sure to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala that whatever we have accomplished is it's not because of us, it's because of Allah's blessing, nothing else. We are just worker, we just try stuff. Second, of course, we kind of give credits to whoever has done it, right? So the last thing I want to do is that team does something and I take the entire credit, right? Into public or internally. So we try to appreciate everybody. And of course, there are some financial gains as well. I mean, they are not much, but we try to do whatever we can do since we are bootstrapping ourselves. So we celebrate it in this kind of area. Once we launch, of course, then we'll celebrate it every day, inshallah, as
Inshallah.
we achieve those goals, right?
Okay, inshallah, something is coming up very soon.
Um,
So the next one is, where do you see Mabrook in 5 years? But you cannot use the word global in the answer.
um, I see Mabrook as the software rail, which helps everybody to tokenize asset quickly in couple of minutes, maybe seconds, and they're able to raise in a secure and compliant environment funds they need from the community. That's what I see. So I really want it to be a rail, actually, a rail where wherever we deploy it, it kinds of open up the ecosystem for the
Okay,
user.
great.
So in
So,
other words, our sorry to interject, but in other words, I think that's your thought process of everybody thought process that we have to focus on the technology more than becoming like a like a bank. So our more focus will be on the technology. Of course, the licensing and the compliance falls into their place, but heavily we are focusing on the technology, how to become like a rail itself, you know.
Hmm. Yeah. Okay. Inshallah. And the next question is one app which you can't live without. And you can't name Mabruk.
Uh, I think the most app I use is I like communicating, so I would say Slack or WhatsApp.
No, you can't use that also.
I cannot use it also. So what kind of
That's
it? Like
something like
a
which we all use all the time.
hmm.
One general app, like maybe an investing app, so that our listeners can also like start checking that out.
So I don't. I use so many apps. It's really hard because I
Just
sometimes
one,
I'm
your
using
favorite one.
combining. I would say start exploring Gemini of Google. I've been testing it a lot because one of the thing we have in our mind is actually try to create um, sort of a sales funnel or CRM system using AI. And I'm exploring that app. That app offers a lot of things basically. So I would say that nowadays is Gemini, Google Gemini.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you can create your own. They have models, so you can select the models. And if you go with the paid app, it's like $20 I'm paying every month. Is nothing to what it offers. You can basically train your data. And there's some concept I can give everybody a clue. There's a concept of vector database. I can assure you, maybe out of so many banks, maybe less than 1% have started over that. Think about vector database. What it does is that you can really coach your AI to respond into that database. So basically, you can deploy it into if you do something, you code it right properly. It's very easy to do so. But it's a concept you need to understand, learn how to basically manage that AI. It's not like how you code it, but how you manage it, what you tell it to do. You can coach your own proprietary algorithms. You can coach them, the AI. You create your own algorithm and deploy it into your call center, for example, and you won't feel it goes crazy. As in, when somebody calls to the call center, AI picks up, and then it's answering all the questions using your vector database.
In fact, I have experienced one, and I was testing somebody's software who built a similar thing. They, in fact, had literally the sound of somebody typing at the back. So
Yeah.
I was surprised. I was like, "Wow, that's something so cool."
Yes, yeah. Maybe it will be good that we demonstrate that in Mabrook, Dr. Riba. Maybe we can work
Yeah,
together. We'll
yeah,
demonstrate it in some, maybe we'll create a podcast out of using AI and we ask people, what do you feel about it?
definitely, definitely, we can do that, inshallah. So, my second last question, actually, one advice you'd like to give to people who want to join Mabrook, not as an investor, but as an employee.
Get yourself familiarized. Go to Thai's YouTube channel if you don't know Islamic finance. There are basic courses. Go and look into those, start those. Um, we'll learn a little bit about blockchain and then, yeah, inshallah, please join. I mean, then we'll start. Because one of the agenda of Mabruk is to create blockchain human supply as well. Well, not unfortunately, not many Muslims. I mean, I might be wrong saying it, but this is what I saw generally in the market. And now it's been now almost 3 years into blockchain, maybe more than that, day and night. I'm not seeing much Muslims participating into the infrastructure side of the blockchain. So I would say that join us, learn from us, and then you part ways and do your own fintech. Doesn't matter. So I would say start with the understanding Islamic finance and then learn with us the application of it on the blockchain side. And inshallah, we are open and whatever our in our best of ability and capacity, we'll groom you, train you, inshallah, and then you decide what you want to do next.
Inshallah. So, our listeners can take this point. They have to go to Taif's page, learn about Islamic finance, and then we can definitely talk because obviously the basics have to be clear. So, yeah. So, my last question is interesting, and it is: What's a dream collaboration for Mabrook? Like, who do you want to collaborate with? Like the dream company.
That's in the plan actually in the roadmap. We want to collaborate with the Islamic bank because there are a couple of use cases that Mabruk alone cannot solve. I.e., I mean, we can solve it, but maybe the scaling would be an issue, or it will take some time, or it will make sense on the cost perspective. Maybe one of the use cases that custodial. So we are getting deposits right in stable coin and whatnot. We need Islamic bank become can become the custodian of those deposits, right? And of course, once we do it, they can also cross sell. Then there are other use case we have. Maybe they can use Mabruk to issue sukuk. So that can also be done using our rails. So under their license, under their governance, we just plug in the technology and we go from there. So I would say that I'm really eager to work with an Islamic bank out there who is willing to test us. Of course, um, we are we are very open. I mean, we can go to the level of demonstration of the app and whatnot, and we can work with the bank's management to kind of put the business case through push internally as well. So that's what I'm looking into.
Okay. And inshallah, we are going to celebrate another milestone very soon.
Sure.
So, okay, so that was the end of my questions. So today, I'm sure everybody has learned about importance of faith in fintech and what Mabrook is doing and how Mabrook will be paving the way for ethical investments. Before we wrap up, any advice to upcoming, how would I say, entrepreneurs who will be entering the Islamic fintech space? Just one last question.
Yeah. So my advice is don't give up. Islamic finance. I don't want to discourage anyone, but Islamic finance. When you come to Islamic finance, there's an added parameter that you need to qualify. Right? It's conventional. For example, you are rolling out payment services in conventional world. You can just really go out and then do a payment services using some cryptocurrency or whatnot in blockchain world. In an Islamic finance, you have to be careful because it has to be scrutinized by the Sharia board, right? So, but that's a governance that every needs to follow. Especially our religion says that you have to do things in a Islamic principle way. So, I don't see it as a barrier, but it's a learning curve. So don't get frustrated. Never give up. Um, the Our Sharia board is absolutely so phenomenal in terms of support. So we can really go ahead and then talk to them about anything we want, and they will not just shoot us down. They will just give us a right argument or some material to read and then adjust it, right? So arguments and counter arguments, and then we kind of define things which are better for the consumer, right, the user of the platform. So don't give up, and inshallah, we and if you are doing something and you need our help on anything, we are open to do so, as far as you want to do things in Sharia compliant way. So yeah, my advice is don't give up, learn, raise awareness, study yourself, right? And inshallah, you'll be able to nail it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So, a huge thanks to Fahad for sharing insights and to all our listeners for tuning in today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to check out our website as well for more updates. This has been FinTech Meets Faith, episode number 2. Until next time, stay ethical, stay innovative, and stay inspired. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.